how's everyone doing? In today's video, Todd is going to be making some deer tenderloin sandwiches. This is from the deer that he killed this last deer season, and I'm going to let you go ahead and watch to see how he cleans and prepares this meat.
Okay. Normally I will take the deer and thaw it out in like a stainless steel bowl for the day before. I'll put some salt water in here, some salt in here with water. I'll change the water out a couple times, usually let it set for 3-4 hours, rinse it again, put some clean water in, a little salt, and then leave it set overnight. That kind of helps get any of the gamey taste out, pull some of the blood out of it. If you've never had tenderloin sandwiches, it's the same thing as filet mignon, which is beef. It's the piece of muscle that runs along either side of the top of the backbone. Extremely tender. What I like to do is get these butterflied so you can see they're kind of split in half like that. And one of the things after I clean them and I've soaked them is I like to take them out. I'll go through them one at a time, just make sure that there's nothing on them. The processor did a good job. There won't be any hair or anything like that. Make sure that they're butterflied nicely. If they're not, I'll just make a little bit of a slit so they lay nice and flat. Then I put them in a Ziploc bag and I'll go through them. If there's any silver skin, which is kind of, you'll see is kind of like a silver color on them or extra fat, I'll cut that off. But these actually were trimmed really nice by the butcher that did these here locally for me. And I'll take these, put them in the Ziploc bag. I've already done about 1.5 pounds of them so far. For us, 3 of us, we'll eat a couple sandwiches, and then I'll save a couple to take to work for my lunch over the next week. So I'll probably make 4 or 5 sandwiches out of these.
Do you have any that you haven't butterflied yet?
No, these were all already butterflied by the butcher.
Oh,
like
nice.
If you see a little bit of fat on there. So I place them all in the Ziploc bag, and I'll take the flat end of a meat mallet and just kind of tap them down. You don't have to be too aggressive because this is extremely tender meat already. It kind of flattens them out. Then I'll flip it over, do the other side. You can see already how these are pretty much uniform, maybe 3/8 of an inch thick. Then I'll take them out of that. I use this JL Crafts marinade in a bag. There's a bunch of different ones. There's a Lee and Perrins ones I've used. There's KC Masterpiece I've used. Most stores, Kroger carries this. It holds about 3 pounds of meat. It's already got a real nice marinade in it. Here's some I've already done that I already pounded out and put in here. Then I'll take all these. I like to leave them in. If I have the time, like we're gonna have these on Tuesday, I started thawing them out on Sunday. Today is Monday. I'm gonna pound them out, put them in this marinade, let them set overnight. Tomorrow when I get home from work, I'll grill them. And literally, it'll take about 15 minutes to cook these in the marinade. I'll make some grilled caramelized onions, and I'll toast some brioche buns and a big slice of sharp cheddar cheese. Makes a great sandwich. I think everybody that's ever ate them loves them. So one of the best things I like about the deer, many things, but that's one of the best cuts of the deer. And that's what you end up with is a bunch of tenderloins in this marinade. Just put them in the fridge, turn them over maybe 3 or 4 times between now and tomorrow. When I think about it, I'll go in there and turn the bag over in the fridge and let them set like that for about 24 hours, and tomorrow they'll be ready to cook.
So this is the next day. The meat's been marinating overnight. Todd just cut up sweet potatoes, and he's going to explain to you what all he put in it.
So I just cut some sweet potatoes into like 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch shoestring size maybe. And I put some olive oil, just drizzled olive oil on them. Put a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, SPG, and then put some cornstarch. Cornstarch will help them crisp up in the oven so they won't come out as soggy. So that's kind of a little trick for cooking fries out of, in this case, sweet potatoes. We've made them out of butternut squash, regular potatoes, but just sprinkle a little cornstarch on them, shake them up, kind of coat them real well in your pan, and then put them out on a single layer on a cookie sheet about 350 degrees for 20-25 minutes on each side, and they'll be crispy like regular fries.
Is it 20-25 minutes total, or?
Each side.
Okay, so it'll take
Just kind of watch
approximately.
them, you know, once they start to
close to
get
an hour.
good and brown on one side, just go in and turn them over about halfway through. Cook them on the other side like you would any other kind of fries. Kind of get those going first before I do anything on the grill, so they got some time to cook. And then I'm gonna make some dipping sauce out of some W sauce, Duke's mayo, W sauce, some ketchup, some garlic, a little bit of hot sauce, and I'll probably put some chipotle powder in there just to kind of season it up and give it a little bit of heat. But I'll show you how I'll make that in a minute. Okay, there's 3/4 of a cup of Duke's mayo, 1/3 of a cup of ketchup, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a tablespoon of W sauce here.
You said half a tablespoon?
Yeah, it's about a half a tablespoon. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Put about a half of a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar.
This happens to be with the mother, but it could be either or. It could be
Doesn't
regular
really
apple
matter.
cider.
You just want the vinegar in there. I'll put a couple shots of some Texas Pete's hot sauce, maybe, and like that. Mix it up. Throw maybe about a tablespoon of some minced garlic pieces in there. Don't have to be exact, just for the flavor. Salt and pepper to taste. This is 16 mesh black pepper, pretty much the same black pepper I use on everything. This is not what you usually get in your grocery store. You usually get like a restaurant grind or fine grind. This I get on Amazon, Spiceology. It's about $20 for one of these, but it's a super coarse black pepper. It's what you use on briskets, most barbecues. Use 16 mesh, what I prefer. Put a little bit of that in there. Mix it up. And it should look about like that. And then you taste it and adjust from there. If you want it hotter, put a little bit more hot sauce in it, a little more garlic, put some more garlic powder in it. Want a little bit more tang, put some more Worcester W sauce in there. But that's the basics for a dipping sauce. Right there. Taste it.
Let's see. Mmm.
Is it good?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's
It's got a little heat, little tang.
yeah.
Yum.
So I'll put that in the fridge and just let that kind of meld for a little while so the flavors can all meld together. While I'm cooking everything else, that can set for 30 or 45 minutes in the fridge, and then we'll get that out whenever it's time to eat the fries.
So now we're just chopping up some onions.
Yep, this onions are going to be for the caramelize to put on top of the sandwiches.
This is going to be so good. This is one of my favorites that Todd makes.
Little promo right here. Best knives ever, Doll Strong. Owned a bunch of different chef knives, from Oosterhaus to some of the best, and I'll guarantee you there's not a better knife out there than these Doll Strongs right here.
And we are not sponsored at all. This
Not
is
sponsored,
just what we
saying,
use and
probably
love.
The best value for good chef's knives. I have several of them, different sizes. That one right there is the perfect
show.
size.
That's the knife.
Yeah, I think that's the 6
Gladiator.
or 7 inch chef knife. It's perfect for most stuff. So a little bit of olive oil, same thing, just coat them good with some olive oil. And what I like to put is, we make this up, you can buy it everywhere, but it's cheaper to make it at home. SPG again. Some salt, pepper, and 16 mesh garlic, and I just season them real good with that.
And that's all, it's all equal parts.
Equal parts salt, equal parts garlic, granulated, and 16 mesh black pepper.
I also call it the trifecta seasoning.
Yeah, make sure you use coarse salt, kosher salt. Yeah, the trifecta, SPG, there's a lot of terms. Pretty much it's the base that I put on anything I barbecue. It'd be the first layer I put on if I'm gonna do a brisket or pulled pork or anything for that matter. First layer is almost always SPG, and then after that comes whatever you're trying to flavor it to be. So Anyway, that'll be the caramelized onions shortly.
So good.
All right, so we're gonna start making these sandwiches. I've got the onions I'm gonna caramelize. I've got some brioche buns. Don't skimp on the buns. Get good quality buns. I prefer brioche. Getting ready to put them on my Recteq RT700. This is a great grill. Again, these guys, I'm not sponsored by them, but I've cooked on this grill for about 7 years. It's a phenomenal grill to cook on.
It's a pellet grill for those of you who don't know.
This is actually the sear grate turned upside down, so I use the backside to cook flat things on. I'll do like Philly cheesesteaks and stuff like that on this. I'll put the buns on here, let them kind of brown a little bit while I'm cooking the onions, so we'll kind of keep an eye on those. Do a couple at a time. Get the onions on here. Again, just some olive oil, SPG, not too much to that.
Ooh, listen to the sizzle.
Get these caramelized. It'll take probably about 15-20 minutes. The sweet potato fries are still cooking. I'll just let that go. Take turns with these buns until they all get browned a little bit. Then I'll put the buns back on here and let them rest.
Getting ready for some deer tenderloin sandwiches. The buns are grilling. The onions are sizzling. Here goes the deer tenderloin. Oh my gosh, so good.
This is the deer tenderloins that I marinated in this JL Craft marinade that I pounded out last night. They've been in the fridge for about 24 hours marinating. These are now pretty thin, so they're not going to take but 2 or 3 minutes to cook per side at the most. Definitely don't want to overcook these. Make sure you lay them out flat while you're cooking them.
Look at that sizzle. The buns are already off the grill. And then we have the onions resting in the bowl with aluminum foil. I'll just wait, you'll see that in a sec. Doing a quick flip. How long did the one side take to cook?
About 2 or 3 minutes is all I cooked them.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
You don't want to overcook these because they're very thin. They'll be super tender already, so just get a little bit of...
Don't want to make jerky.
No. Alright, so I'll start taking a couple of these off that are good and done. 2 or 3 pieces on each one of these sandwiches. Put a little bit of onion on that. Nice piece of cheese over the top of that.
Sharp cheddar.
Sharp cheddar cheese, yep. Sharp cheddar.
Top it with the bun.
Depending on the size, I might put 2 or 3 pieces on if they're small. Sharp cheddar cheese. Try to keep them nice and warm so it melts them.
So he'll continue doing this until all the sandwiches are put together. We're going to take it in the house, add a little bit of that yummy sauce that he made, and then we're going to serve it with a side of the homemade sweet potato fries. I'm going to take a sandwich, a side of homemade sweet potato fries, and the delicious sauce. Would you like to try it? Tell us what you think, Hayden. This is one of my favorites. Got some pickles out, homemade canned pickles from last year. If you tried this recipe, let me know what you think. Got anything else to say?
Nope, let's eat.
All right. That's a wrap. Thank you for watching. Until next time.